Have any of you ever just gotten $50 and gotten a lighter and lit it on fire and watched it burn, knowing you would never get that $50 back, but you just were like, well, I had $50, so I burned it? Because I have literally just done that by purchasing Rust Console Edition on PS4. I honestly can't think of a game that has been more requested than Rust Console Edition. It has been begged by people to come to console ever since it got popular on its PC release. And honestly, it coming to the PS4 and Xbox One systems always seemed kind of unlikely and almost always got shut down in arguments. But against all the odds, it comes out on console. Rust Console Edition launched not that long after this video is being recorded. I am one of the earliest adopters of this game, and while I didn't pre-order it, I bought it just within weeks of its launch. And some of you might be saying, well, the game just launched. It's not going to be perfect. And for those of you that have not played it yet, that's what I was expecting going into it. I expected the game to just, kind of be mediocre. I like Rust enough, though, that I knew I was still going to have fun playing with my friends that exclusively play on PS4, playing some Rust with them. But boy, do I have some news for you, for those of you that have not watched any of it, have not seen any coverage on it, or are wondering how it works. You ready? It doesn't work. And I'm going to show you some footage right now. It doesn't work. This footage that I'm showing you right now is of Rust, PS4 edition, being played on the original PS4. As you can see, I am trying to load into a server, right? It should be literally the most simple part of the game. You just click it and it loads in, right? Only, it literally doesn't work. The game doesn't work. It does not allow you to load into a server. It doesn't matter how many times you try. It doesn't matter how many times you restart the game, how many times you restart the console. It will always, every single time, kick you out of the game, and it will crash repeatedly at the same point in the loading screen. It's honestly maddening to watch. Being someone who has been disappointed by game releases in the past, I have never experienced anything to the extent of the release of Rust Console Edition. I think the thing that makes it really tough for me to swallow is just the fact that people are like scared to talk about it. I guess that people are just ashamed that they wasted money buying this piece of crap. But I'm not scared to admit, yeah, I wasted money buying this thing, because I don't want other people to waste money buying this thing. There are people who refuse to talk about how this game literally doesn't work. Like, it's infuriating to me, because the closest thing I know to relate it to was the release of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on console, more specifically the Xbox release, because it released on Xbox before anything else. Whenever it released on Xbox, people were really disappointed because it was a lot worse than the PC version, which already was kind of just mediocre. And so there were a lot of complaints like, well, this doesn't work quite like, I thought it would. It's a lot buggier than I thought it would be. The matchmaking isn't fantastic. There are all these complaints. But the game worked. You could load into a match of PUBG, right? And then, there's some other, big names, kind of like Fallout 76. Oh my goodness, Fallout 76 was a horrible letdown. Like, I love Fallout, and that game was horrible. It was a terrible, horrible excuse for a game. But it was a disappointing experience. But I could I could play the game. I could actually open the game and it worked. That's why I think Rust Console Edition, in its current state, is the worst game I've ever purchased in the history of my life. I purchased Frogger 2 on the PlayStation 1. And I am saying right here that Rust is the worst game I've ever purchased in my life. I have purchased Sonic 06 on the Xbox 360. I am saying to you that Rust Console Edition is the worst purchase in the video game world I ever made. Look, I bought Megamind on the DS. Are you listening? Are you listening to me? This is the worst game I have ever bought. Ever. It blows my mind. There are so many points I want to make here, but if the video is too long, nobody will watch it. It's the worst kind of game because it doesn't work. And here are the most frustrating parts, right? So there are people who are trying to defend this game, the console release. The original game, it's fine. But there are people I've seen, because obviously when it happened, I figured I was doing something wrong, right? I had somehow messed it up. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it's something in the settings I have to change. So I'm looking at all these forums and, Reddit threads or whatever. And all the people are like saying, well, this game's meant for PC. It's not really meant for console. It's not going to work that well. Okay. All right. Whatever. Let's keep reading. Maybe someone will actually say something helpful. So I keep reading. I see people saying, oh, it works better on the next-gen consoles or the PS4 Pro or, still useless information. I don't have a PS4 Pro. I have the PS4. This game is made for PS4, not just PS4 Pro. All of the actual quote-unquote helpful advice that I found was just laughable. It was like, try restarting your console. You don't think I tried restarting my console? It said try re-downloading the game. Okay. I re-downloaded the game 3 times. It didn't do anything. I saw a couple people say try canceling at the prefab, I think is what it's called, the prefab section of the loading screen. I did that. It worked one time, and then never again. Basically, what I'm trying to get across here is that the people who actually defend this game say it's because you're playing it on the wrong console, or you should be playing it on PC instead. So the people saying I'm playing it on the wrong console, most of the time they reference that it works better on the PS4 Pro or the PS5. I believe I've seen people say it works better on the PS5. I need to double check that. But my response to that is that this was a PS4 release of a game. PS4. Not PS4 Pro exclusive. PS4. This means it should work on every single version of the PS4. And if it doesn't, if it just works on the PS4 Pro, put that in the description of the game. Or put that somewhere. Don't just let me figure that out. Oh, well, turns out this game runs like crap on the original PS4. It doesn't even work. It doesn't work. It doesn't load in the textures. It just doesn't work. Now, for those of you saying you should be playing it on PC, well, in and of itself, that doesn't sound like a bad argument. But here's the thing. They released it on console, you see. This is a console release. I expect it to work on my console. Not to the extent of the PC release is obviously better, but I expect it to be able to work, to play the game. It blows my mind, honestly, on several different levels, that this happened. There are people trying to defend it, and they have literally done nothing to solve it. There has not been an update or a patch released at this time that has even attempted to address this problem. Now, one thing that I need to say is that yes, I tried contacting support. This is the worst. This is the worst thing to me, in my opinion. Because yes, their game doesn't work. That's infuriating. But, I'm like, well, maybe I'll get in touch with support. They'll help me out, tell me I'm doing something wrong, tell me I need to lower something, and they'll just kind of maybe give me a better chance of loading in. Maybe they could possibly help me get a refund. I don't know, something. So I message them, I tell them my problem, tell them what's been happening, give them the error code, all that good stuff. And about 3 days passed, and nobody contacts me. Nobody emails me back. There is no way that they haven't seen that email yet. They saw it and were like, oh well. Hey, we already got his $50. I mean, he's already bought the game. I mean, why should we help him? I mean, he already bought it. He got his money. Who cares? That's just, as being a player of this game, I expect to be treated as a customer. I mean, it's what I am. The customer's always right. You're supposed to respect what the customer wants so that, they keep buying your product. When you sell me a product that doesn't work, it makes me say, these people are horrible. I will never purchase from these people ever again. Is that so hard to understand? Look. I had purchased some terrible games, as I've mentioned earlier in the video, but I have never purchased a game that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I don't understand. Now, it'll eventually be patched. It will. It's inevitable. There's no way that it'll stay like this forever. Eventually, there'll be a patch or something that changes something to make it work. And if it doesn't, well, good grief, I'll be dumbfounded, because it literally just doesn't work. And it's not just me. There are plenty of people out there having this issue, but it just seems like a lot of them aren't speaking up. I decided to make a video about it purely because I see hardly anybody talking about this problem. It's a huge problem. When I spend $50 on a game, I expect it to work. Not just throw $50 out a window and just watch it explode. I would rather do that than buy this game. I would buy 17 copies of Fallout 76 before I'd buy this game again. I literally spent $50 for an error code on the PlayStation screen. That's all I have. Don't buy this game. Not right now. It's a scam. I got suckered into it. Don't get suckered in like I did. You're watching Dang Hippies.